Hey guys, what is up? It's your e-girl in crisis, Speedy. I know I haven't done anything in a little bit. I have had a lot of other personal things going on that took priority, but I'm back for now. And this video is on the Blonde Widow, aka Yelena Belova, or Black Widow 2, Adaptoid, or Super Adaptoid. So let's talk Yelena Belova. Get this girl on my face. So she debuted in the Inhumans in issue number 5 in 1999. Her creators, oh my gosh, this does not want to open. Anyway, Twilight Zone, right? Okay, so trying to find a brush, trying to talk, it's too much at once. My brain cannot handle this, so we'll just take this. Anyway, she was created by Devin Grayson and J.G. Jones. She was initially recruited into the Red Room at the age of 15. She was chosen. She wasn't, someone who was a random. She was actually sought out because they thought she could be even better than Natasha Romanoff. Now, that's where things get interesting. Hold on, let me give myself some brows here. Oof. Lord Jesus, help. Someone send help. That is a big brow. That's okay. Whatever. It'll be fine. As you guys can hear, Boulder screaming, singing the sound of his people because he is bored. Yeah, we're gonna need a minute. Okay, so like I was saying, she was recruited into the Red Room at age 15. She was trained by Starkovsky. Now, again, I state Yelena was only 15 at the time her training began. However, her instructor, her trainer, the man she looked at as a father figure, had non-familiar feelings towards little Yelena. But he was like, if I cross this line with her, it's going to completely destroy her trust. So instead, I'm going to go to a fetish club and create my own Yelena there, because that has worked out very well throughout history, right? Oh, we'll get that one instead. So, the girl's name that he picks is Petra. Petra was chosen based on the fact that she was a spitting image of Yelena. Like, an exact image. So far so that Starkovsky goes out and makes sure that Petra has her own Black Widow uniform to complete the fantasy. So his little fantasy of him sleeping with Yelena is being fulfilled. And he would tell Petra everything about Yelena and everything that he wanted to do with her, and just kind of go on and talk about all the things. Well, one time during one of their sessions, she snaps his neck. She kills him. Shit happens. Turns out that she was mentally unstable before all of this, and before the I want you to be my Yelena, even though you're not really Yelena kind of situation that had just occurred. So now Yelena does not know that any of this has gone on. She just knows that her mentor, her father figure, was killed. So she goes off in search of Pietra, and she does find her. So, once she finds Pietra and kills her, she is now officially recognized as the new Black Widow. She even was the first student to surpass Nat's marks. Like, she scored higher than Natasha across the board. So, the Red Room's pretty happy. They have a new Widow who's better than the OG Widow. This is going to be great. Like, finally. Well, trying to figure out where to go from here because there's a lot to unpack. Let's see. We can come back here. My notes. All my notes. So, her first mission is totally botched. It goes wrong in every way it could go wrong. And that's not good. It ends up with, basically she fails. She wants to prove that she's capable of doing it. She gets a second chance. She ends up in New York, where S.H.I.E.L.D., along with Fury and Daredevil, take Yelena down, and they surgically swap her and Natasha's face. This was already after, Natasha and Yelena had fought each other, and there had been no clear, decisive winner between those two in a fight. So now they're just taking Yelena's face, putting it on Natasha's body. You get it. It's comic books. We don't need to complicate it. So, the mission does get done just how they wanted it to. And, obviously, Natasha and Yelena switch back to their original selves. However, this kind of screwed up Yelena's psyche a good bit because she just was basically proven that Natasha has been right about how spies are just tools. They're not important. They don't matter. So, all this has just been shown to her. She kind of just goes off, disappears for a little. Can't blame the girl. I mean, completely understandable. She didn't go on a mass murder spree. I mean, there's others that have, but we're not talking about them today. So after a while, she resurfaces later on. She's become a lingerie model. She's done some softcore porn. All of these things. And she has settled at a home in Havana. Now, this home in Havana, I can't remember if I put stuff on my face yet or not, so we're just going to double layer. She sets it up to bring in medical supplies, offer housing and safety for the female sex workers in the city. She's trying to do the right thing, and she's trying to help them with all this money that she has, blah, blah, blah. Well, she has to reach out to Natasha to get, some of her supplies in, and I feel like I did this because my skin's like, what are you doing? To get some of her medical supplies in. So she reaches out to Natasha for help. And obviously Natasha at first is surprised, but she does agree to help. And she does realize, though, that these goods are they're mob. This is mob medical supplies. Mob stuff that Yelena's trying to get in. And subsequently, because of who it belongs to, Natasha does get captured by them. So the mob takes Natasha. Yelena and Daredevil actually show up and rescue Natasha, and then they go on to kill all the members of that particular mob. Happy ending, right? Right? Happy ending. Everyone's who's a bad guy dies. However, she does later on die, because as we all know in comic books, no one's actually dead and no one actually stays dead. Oh gosh. So we have that going on. There we go. Ignore my edges. So later on, AIM scientist, along with a woman from Hydra, approach her. Now, she does not know this woman is with Hydra, because it's never really clearly mentioned, but I do find it interesting considering who showed up at the end of Black Widow and everything, because this could be in the beginning setups for all this, but who knows. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So, AIM and Hydra take her. They turn her first into Adaptoid. Now, Adaptoid basically, hold on, let me powder my face, has the same abilities as Rogue. They're not your powers, they're our powers. So she is able to go in and copy anyone's powers. Now, the reason she was given this ability was because they wanted her to take down Spider-Woman. And they figured Yelena, already being as good as she is, if she can clone their powers and use all of the Avengers' powers on them, that she'll be able to get the job done. Well, when they realize that she's not going to be able to get the job done, it's just not going to happen. She might be able to take down all the rest of them, but she still cannot take down Spider-Woman. So, the scientist detonates the remote safety to kill her. Just wipe the board. Yelena's gone. Bye-bye. So they think. Well, hold on. Let's go back. I want to make sure because I have notes everywhere. Yeah, I have problems. Alright. So after that, she did turn back up later on. Very much alive. Very much well. She was working with the Vanguards, a Black Ops superhero task force. Blade was on it. I'm trying to remember who else. I mainly remember Blade being on it, honestly. So she's part of that team for a while. However, when the team disbands later on, Norman Osborn catches her breaking into a defunct, SHIELD station. Oof. So, he's like, oh, Yelena Belova breaking into SHIELD, still alive? Awesome. So, obviously she ends up in the Thunderbolts. If you don't know what the Thunderbolts are, where have you been? They're very similar to Suicide Squad. Okay, that's a lie. That's more Task Force. Let me get back to you on that. It's just good. The Rebirth run was Punisher, Elektra, Venom, Deadpool, Arcane. Can't remember who else. And then there was one that was Bucky Barnes, Yelena Belova. You get where I'm going with this. It's good. That's all you need to know. So, once in the Thunderbolts, shows Yelena learning of the plan for them to kill Fury, Natasha, and Songbird. However, turns out that while Osborn's plan of getting Yelena to bond with the Thunderbolts and become one with them, it wasn't even Yelena. It was actually Natasha working for Fury, trying to find out exactly what the Thunderbolts were up to. Yeah. So, Natasha, Songbird, Fury, they all escape. They all get out, and then we are shown where the real Yelena Belova is. And she is in a stasis tank inside the Avengers Tower. That's right. They have her in stasis. Now, the only problem with this, AIM finds her once again. So once again, our little spider is back in AIM's hands, which we know is not good. No one wants to be in AIM's hands. And they basically turn her back into super Adaptoid. So she runs around once again as super Adaptoid. Which, again, I don't know, I just prefer Yelena without powers, because she wasn't really ever supposed to have powers. It's kind of something that they did. But, yeah. Sorry. There we go. Does that look okay, guys? That'll work for now. So, AIM recovers her from underneath Avengers Tower and brings her back to life. So, hold on. So once again, Yelena's back up, running around, flipping back and forth between sides, doing everything she does oh so well. So now in 2020, she had her own mini-series called Black Widow, A Pale Little Spider. And while I said yes, she was originally introduced to us in 1999 in Inhumans number 5 or volume 2, whichever way you want to go about it. It's fine with me. I'm not going to fight over something that remedial and undeserving of an argument. But she was fully officially introduced, because, you know, comic book logic, oh, she was in this issue first, but we know what I'm talking about if we are a comic book reader. And if you don't, hey, consider yourself lucky. You'll understand one day. So, in 1999, Black Widow Marvel Knights also kind of highlighted a little bit more about our blonde widow. So that was, you know, another interesting thing. Like I said, she has been a member of the Thunderbolts. She technically did work for S.H.I.E.L.D. One of the times she got killed was when she was working for S.H.I.E.L.D. and they were mining vibranium? Yeah, vibranium. And there was a shootout, and there was a whole big thing, and Yelena did supposedly die during that. Dark Avengers. She was kind of on a lot of the big name teams. And we know that I personally love a good anti-hero and a really good villain. But I will say, I love Yelena Belova, whether she's a good guy, a bad guy, in between. I even enjoyed her. Let me fix this now that we're done. Yeah. Really get in. There we go. You know, I really even enjoyed the way they portrayed her in the Black Widow movie. I thought that was great. It was a kind of different portrayal of Yelena, but it still showed she had the same training as Nat. She still had that competitive nature with her. And that they weren't actually really sisters, because we know Yelena was there to be the new Natasha, and she wanted to be the best Black Widow and surpass Nat. A very different dynamic than what we saw in the movie with her and Nat. So honestly, I love every variation of Yelena I've come across, even the ones of her as Adaptoid or Super Adaptoid, because while I don't like her with powers, I still find her to be a very interesting character. What else can I say? Oh, right. Next week. Maybe this week. I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling. I'm thinking that we should do some horror face-off, which leads to a lot. I mean, part of me kind of thinks we deserve some Michael Myers versus Leatherface, although maybe save it and do Michael versus Sam for Halloween, and do Pinhead versus, I don't know, Pennywise, or the Disturbed Behavior kids versus the faculty crew. Either way, one of those will be coming up very soon. My next video, hopefully, I will be able to do Harley Quinn, and I can hear the eyes rolling. But I love Harley. I have loved her since she debuted in the animated cartoons, and I find her to be an interesting character, especially because the one writer point blank came out and said he never ever would have written her. She never ever would have existed. That she just probably would have had that one-time appearance in the animated series, and that would have been it if he had his way. So definitely kind of want to touch on all of that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and at least wear a mask, bro. No one wants to get sick or have to deal with this pandemic bullshit anymore. Stay safe, guys.